Adam and Doug here with Hometown Acres. We're joining a little bit early. Let me know if the audio sounds good, if you guys can hear us. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to join in here.
You guys are going to need to speak up. I can't hear you. Looks like we've got a commercial. Why is your screen showing? Mine's not. Yeah. Here, let me skip ads.
There you go.
Oh, that's flattering.
Hey, we got back 40 Firewood in the house. Clinch Chainsaws, Joe Murray, Dan Klein, Diane, JF Outdoors. So, who's got an eye on the time? We got 2 minutes till we get started here.
JF Outdoors, hello. Can you hear us? Nobody's replied yet. I can't tell if we're just talking to ourselves or some people out there.
Looks like we got 106 in the chat. Hey, smash that thumbs up button on your way in the door. I'd appreciate it.
It'll help them pay for fuel for that excavator. Hi, Chase, how are you? Sounds good. We're live, yes.
All right, cool. So we're just gonna kind of answer your guys' questions. I saw somebody just commented and said, how's the curling? The pond right now, probably not the safest. We got about 12 or 24 inches of snow melt last couple days, and then we got 2 inches of rain a couple days ago as well. So we probably still have 5 or 6 inches of ice left underneath, but then we got probably a foot of water on top of the old ice.
And you know what this knucklehead did last night? So we stopped over to see how the live chat would work and get that all worked in. And he said, you want to go down and see the pond? I saw something on the pond, and I'm like, no, I don't really want to go down. It's dark, it's, you know, whatever, fresh ice. And so we take it side by side down there, and he starts walking out in the ice because there's a hunk of wood frozen in the ice. I'm like, you don't want to go out there. So he goes out, starts kicking it.
The day we did the curling out on the pond, we had a bonfire going next to the pond, and with all the snow melt and the rain that we got, all the leftover firewood that was there is now completely underwater, and some of the logs that were there ended up floating out into the middle of the pond. So we've got pieces of firewood out in the middle of the Hometown Acres pond, which is about fitting, right?
So everybody that was saying you need to put stuff in the pond for fish habitat,
there we go.
It's there. Yeah. Not intentionally, but it's there.
Yeah. So Andrew and Samantha Madison, I actually met them at the Paul Bunyan show. They came up with a nickname for you, and it's Dougie Fresh. They want you to teach them how to Dougie.
Do the Dougie.
Hey, speaking of Paul Bunyan, if any of you guys were there and met us there, you would have gotten one of these Hometown Acres koozies from us if you came up and talked to us. So next time we do a meetup, I'll make sure to have some more koozies with us to pass out. Let's see.
Chris Nevels, yeah, we've both seen Nuts 319 there, I think. He would be a good one to talk to.
I was actually, I know we've got a mutual contact in Mike Morgan. I was thinking about reaching out to Mike and seeing if he could get me in contact with Nuts 319, because I've seen some of his videos. Let's see.
Is your basement wet? We got a comment there from Timothy Stringham.
Our basement is not, but my parents, they have had problems with their basement for years. Every time we get the spring thaw and rain on top of it, they get water that comes in their basement.
Don't mind the wood in the pond, it's just floating devices. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cody Myers from Alabama, toolbox. Not sure what you're looking for there, but yeah, there's a toolbox over there.
Yeah,
to Adam's side.
Here, I'll see if I can. Yeah, there's the
there's
toolbox.
The toolbox.
So we've got some prepared questions here, just in case we don't have anything coming up in the chat. So the thumbnail for this live stream was a bunch of excavators. And I'm not promising anything, but we have been looking very hard at...
He bought all of them.
We've been looking very hard at excavators. There's just a lot of uses for it here on the property. Probably not a whole lot of digging, but just moving trees around with the sawmill and firewood and all of that. We have a lead on one right now. It's in the right price range. It's the right size. It's about 3 hours away though, so we still need to go look at it and check all that out and make sure it looks as good in the pictures as it does in real life. I don't know if we're gonna move forward with it or not, but man, I would love to have a mini excavator around here on the property.
And it takes me an hour to drive over here with mine, so.
Yeah, so Doug is probably a mile away via road, and I think I tracked it out, it's 1.7 miles away on the trails. And the one time he came over here to dig some test holes before we started the pond to test our soil, it took him an hour to track that thing, because skid steers travel at like 6-7 miles an hour, but excavators are like 1.2 miles an hour.
Yeah,
so.
And I think I came over here and it was an absolute downpour thunderstorm on my way. By the time I got here, it was sunny and nice out.
Yeah. So that answers the excavator question. We have one in our sights, but we still don't know if it's gonna come to fruition just yet.
Chris Nevels. No, I'm not gonna teach him. He's learned everything he needs to know.
Yeah, so when Doug and I first met, we met through Facebook or YouTube here, and he messaged me, gave me directions to his place through the woods, and I was like, I know exactly where you're at. So we ended up meeting back in the field somewhere and got to talking, and he said, hey, I've got some firewood poles. Hey, we got a super chat from Back 40 Firewood. Would the excavator be for work or hobby use? Well, for tax purposes, it's gonna be for work.
It's a definite business expense.
Yeah.
Talking to an accountant, it's a business expense.
It's a business expense. But yeah, definitely both. But we will definitely be using it for business use.
Hello, Einstein, Jonathan Brumfield. We'll get to some of those nicknames here shortly.
We'll get to the nicknames here in a bit. So anyway, back to what I was saying. When we went over to Doug's, he had 2 dump trailer loads full of firewood for us. And I said, all right, well, where do you want me to park? And he goes, doesn't matter to me. You're going to be the one loading the dump trailer. So I had never been in a mini excavator before. And I don't know who else in the world would let you just hop in a piece of equipment like that and just give you free reign. But it was pretty cool. And again, I blame Doug for me wanting to go get a mini.
He sure wasn't going to hurt the excavator, but he was going to destroy the trailer if he didn't do anything.
Yeah. So let's see. Some other questions we've gotten. Somebody asked about why don't we take our dump trailer and load it full of snow, collect all the snow around the property and take it and dump it in the pond. So it probably doesn't come across on camera as much as if you were here to see it in person, but our property is extremely hilly, and back behind the pond, we've got probably, I don't know, 20 acres that drain into that pond. So all of that snow melt, that 2 foot of snow on 20 acres is gonna melt and go down into the pond, plus all the rain that we get and runoff. And I guess, every little bit helps, but I'm not in that big of a hurry for the pond to fill. Plus, if we've got 2 foot of snow on the ground, I wouldn't even be able to get my truck in there, let alone the truck and the dump trailer loaded full of snow. So that answers that question.
Guys, some of these questions, as they come in here pretty fast, we got to try and read them and answer them. And as we're talking, some of them go away. But
yeah, if we don't answer your question, either type it again, or you can always do a super chat, and that way it'll stick out to us.
Back Creek Cabin, I hope he gets an excavator that works. I don't care what one he's looking at, but as long as it's one that works.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm relying on Doug. Hey, tell me, because you've done some shopping, you've owned different machines throughout the years. You know what brands to stay away from and what to go with. Doug has a Bobcat E60, by the way.
Tim Brethold, how far away are you from Mike Morgan? I think we're probably what?
Hour and 15, maybe an hour.
North of him?
Yeah, an hour north of Mike. Not too far away. Yeah, Mike's actually been here to the property. We did a video with him probably almost 2 years ago now.
Todd's outside again. Drinks.
Tell Mike Morgan you want to use his. Yeah, you know what? I found out very quickly when we did the pond build here that trucking for heavy equipment is very expensive. We used Madison Heavy Equipment to do actually I think all of our trucking, and they are very reasonable, and their trucking is $100 an hour. So when we went to go get Doug's brother's Deere 650 bulldozer,
Yeah.
it was $150 each way to go pick it up and then to take it back, something like that. So to bring Mike's Mini up here, he doesn't have a truck big enough for it. I don't have a truck big enough for it. We'd have to pay to get it up here, and obviously that's also Mike's machine. So I'm not signing him up for that.
Yeah. Hey Trent, we don't need a camera for the fire. We can feel it kind of warm. So as soon as it starts getting cold in here, we got to turn around and put some wood in it.
Yeah. Let's see. So what kind of excavator are we looking at? Well, I want to get the same size that Doug has, the 6-ton machine. The one we're looking at, I'm not going to divulge just yet because...
For those math challenge, that's 12,000 pounds.
Well, metric ton is 2,200 pounds, right? So roughly 12,000 pounds. Yeah, just because if it doesn't come to fruition, I don't want to get ahead of myself here and get everybody's hopes up, but I'll let you know it's in that 12 to 13,000 pound range.
Andrew and Samantha Madison. No, not yet. Not yet. Still working on it. Got a while to go.
Let's see. So another question we get all the time, and I'm going to let Doug take this one. Doug, why don't you start your own YouTube channel?
Because you do it. It's just easier to come over here. I mean, I don't know. You know, I've thought about doing it, and I still got a lot of neat things that aren't firewood related, like you do, and we've actually worked some of those into your videos.
Yep.
And you know, you've got one now that I'm proud of. It's gone pretty big, and it's been exciting to do that. But I don't know. I'm not sure yet. If I could get my kids to help me with it, or get my wife involved, and I think we could do a little bit something with it. But as of right now, it's just fun to tinker around here and do whatever and see what happens.
All right, so we got a couple of super chats here. Clinch Chainsaws and More said, whatever brand you buy, it's important to have a dealer nearby. That is definitely something I am considering very strongly. I actually went and looked at some new units about 2 hours away, and one of the questions I asked them was, do you guys have service trucks? And they said no. And at that point, I pretty much, sorry, I'm not paying for trucking 2 hours away each direction just to have warranty work done if it needs any. Not to say that it would, but that's a pretty big deterrent. So definitely a good dealer is something I'm gonna keep in mind. Purple Collar Life, hey Chad, what's going on? He said, how are your firewood sales? We're seeing a serious shortage about 1 hour south of you. Curious if you're seeing it up there. I'm not really too in tune with what everybody else is doing in terms of firewood. I just know...
Because you ain't selling anything.
I know what we're doing here, and right now our roadside stands, we're selling, I don't know, 2 to 3 racks a week, something like that, out of my stand and out of Doug's stand. That's actually another question I had here written down ahead of time, was kind of the roadside stand from my property to Doug's. So we did a video on, Doug lives on a much busier road than I do, and I think that video I timed traffic for 10 minutes, and you had like 250 cars that went by your place in 10 minutes, and I had like 13 that went by our driveway here. And I started my roadside stand about 3 months before you offered to put one up on your property down at the bottom of your driveway. And so mine was up 3 months longer. And in the same period, I think they're about even now. They've both sold.
Yeah, I think
it's like 50 racks of wood out of each one or something like that. But I am all sold out of seasoned wood at the moment. I don't have any more to go out the door. So I'm pretty much just in holding pattern until I get some more wood that's dry.
And I ain't giving them any mind.
Have you thought about a heat activated fan for your wood stove to move the heat around? This wood stove has a blower on it. I actually have it turned off right now just so you guys can hear me because the blower is kind of loud. K&L Firewood. I gotta go, Adam. Been with you seemingly from the beginning. Hey, thanks for stopping in. Man, these comments are just flying by. We've got 290 people in the chat right now. If you haven't already, give us that big thumbs up. It helps push the live stream out to more people. Oh, we've got some questions on the garage edition. So the other day we just had the electric company out here, the gas company, and the builder. We're still on schedule to start at the end of March, beginning of April. And really it's just kind of preliminary meeting talking about moving all of our utilities, because where we're gonna be putting the garage is gonna be right where the meters connect to the house and all the lines run underground. So we're moving along nicely there. I still need to get my building permit. That's on my list, but turnaround on that should be like less than a week. So AJS2654, how is the Holz Forma doing? I was gonna do a video on this. That chainsaw, when it runs well, but it's a little finicky, especially depending on this time of year when the weather's changing. You know, one day you go out there and it's 20 degrees, another day you go out there and it's 50 degrees. Seems like the carburetor needs a little more TLC than probably an OEM Husqvarna would, or if you're to get one of the auto-tune machines. Let's see. Wait, Doug, you wrote down some questions. What do you got over there?
I don't know. You want us to read them or read these?
Have you seen any here?
Wait. You guys run the roadside stands. Nick McGee. I can't pronounce that last name. Sorry. You run the roadside stands right through the winter. And
Yeah. That was one thing that surprised me with the roadside stands. I did not, I kind of figured it would be seasonal in that, you know, spring and fall when people are out camping. Because in the middle of summer, you've got mosquitoes, it's 90 degrees out. Not a lot of people camp in the dead of summer when it's hot out and muggy. Spring and fall definitely is our busy time, but I thought the winter would be completely dead. But no, we've been selling right along all winter long. Nothing crazy, but still moving wood.
Joe Murray, I don't know that you can ask Kubota for a piece of equipment. I think they've got to view his channel and deem him worthy of it.
If somebody's going to sponsor you, they usually reach out to you, especially when you're talking about equipment that heavy. And we haven't been approached at this point for anything. We've had a couple feelers out there, but nothing take hold yet.
Adam, what's your full-time job, Eddie? I've seen that come up, and there's one here from, where is it?
Yeah, I actually had that written down here.
LJB.
A lot of people ask, what do I do for a living? And the main reason is because they see that we've got a four-wheeler, a side-by-side, a tractor, log splitters, all this equipment. And I'm an accountant. I don't have any extravagant job, really. I mean, it's not like I'm out there making millions. Some of the equipment that we have is sponsored. You know, I'm always upfront about that. What equipment is sponsored, what equipment we've paid for. But really what it comes down to, why we have good equipment, is that's what we spend our money on. A lot of people, they travel, they go over to Europe or they go to the Caribbean or whatever. Doug and I were talking about this before the live stream started. You said when you first got married, you didn't go on vacation for 14 years.
Yeah, it was around there some point in time.
And when the last vacation my wife and I went on was our honeymoon in 2018. That was 4 years ago. So that's just not where we spend our money. We spend it on other things. We don't go out to dinner all that often. And when we do, it's, you know, 30, 40 bucks. It's not like a $200 dinner going out.
It is now.
Every once in a while, we do go out to, you know, a nice dinner, but that's just not, you know, it's all about budgeting. You only got so much money that comes in, and it's all about where you want to spend it. And for us, tractors, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, log splitters, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do for a living. I'm an accountant. I think people always ask.
I don't do anything.
Doug's retired, but I'll let you explain what you did before you were retired.
Well, before I retired, it was a family-owned business. My mother and father started a tool and die business in town, and they built injection molds and dies, metal stamping dies. And the metal stamping dies kind of faded away, and then we got into doing a lot more injection molding. Because we were actually building the molds. And so my dad started inquiring or learning how to do injection molding. And from that business, then we had a rather large tool and die shop and an injection molding facility. We were supplying OEMs all over the world with what we call under the hood or electrical components that go into vehicles that are in medical, that are in aerospace and things like that. So if you lift up the hood of a car for the normal person, you'll see electronic connectors in there that whether they activate airbags, anti-lock brakes, sensors, things like that. We did a lot of the Bosch bumper sensors that are in just about 90% of the cars now, and it is a safety requirement for when you're backing up, and it all started out as child safety sensors. You're backing out of your garage door so you don't run over your child playing on their big wheel or whatever. So we did a lot of that. And back, let's say 22 years ago, I think it was, 23 years ago, my father had passed away, and there was 4 of us, or 4 brothers. I'm one of 4, and when he passed, we took over the business. My oldest brother was already pretty much running the business. He was the president, and so we started running the business, and I was there for 30 years after that, and we all got to an age where we decided that we either needed to expand, buy another business, move a business overseas. And we all kind of looked at each other and says, well, there's some of our options. And then the option come up, well, what if we sell the business? Kind of all scratched our heads and went, that's an option. So we put that feeler out there, and it really turned out to be the best option for all of us. And so we were able to sell a business to a Michigan-based plant that's a Fortune 500 Warren Buffett-owned company, who you probably have heard of Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
So his business entities, one of those bought our business, and so we're retired and have enjoyed that life for probably 4 or 5 years now. And so now Doug plays on his toys back in the woods, and really, I think that's all of our goals, right? Is to just go play on your toys back in the woods. Yeah. Hey, so we got a super chat from Ohio Woodburner. Can you lend me $5? Getting ready for mud season 2022. Tell you what, I was out splitting wood this afternoon. You got $5 now.
I was out splitting wood this afternoon, and in the morning, the ground was frozen, and towards the end of the day, it was definitely getting sloppy and muddy out there. I'm glad I called it quits when I did. TC Outdoors super chat. Adam, love the channel. You're an inspiration. Keep the great videos coming. Have a great weekend. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
There was a comment back earlier, and let me see if I can quickly scroll back, but there was a fellow that said something about, no, I can't get back to it, about the organization skills there on, he had watched the one video that we did with the garage and stuff like that. So thank you for the comment or compliment on that. And for me, it's just basically been a way of life for a lot of years with having our business, doing that with my own particular stuff, and then training the employees where we worked about how to keep things organized and stuff like that. So when you have company provided tooling and tools, it gets rather expensive to have it come up missing all the time. So, and I think, we did it over here with Adam, and I believe he's seen the benefit in it.
I love it. I would never go back. The problem is that I struggle with is getting it set up. Once it's set up, I will always put that tool back where it goes. It's just a matter of finding a place for that tool. That's what I struggle with. But so back to talking about what?
LJB, you're killing me, man.
So back to what Doug was saying with what he used to do and what I currently do. I think that just speaks about the community that we have in Hometown Acres and all the subscribers and you guys on the live chat right now. Is Doug was in injection molding, tool and die. I'm an accountant. Let me know in the live chat what all of you guys do for a living, just so we can kind of see the diversity of what we all do and how firewood and equipment and owning property and land and just kind of brings us all together. I mean, under any normal circumstances, what would Doug and I have to talk about between what we do for a day job if it wasn't for excavators and bulldozers?
How many beans did you count today? Will Davidson, aka WD-40, thank you. Once you do it, you'll never go back, and you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. and I know right at the beginning we referenced the silverware drawer.
Yeah.
For the people, the naysayers out there that had, I call them ridiculous comments because they obviously have never tried it before. And,
Right.
you know, I wish I could go see their setup and say, you know, do you put your silverware in different drawers every day? And
Yeah.
would that not drive you nuts? So,
So Dylan, my buddy at Tag Out Crew, he just commented, so he works pipeline, and then he said in his spare time he flies the drone for Hometown Acres.
you know, actually, it's always fun to come over when Dylan's here. He's a treat. He's a character. I've known Dylan for a lot of years, and you know, back when I coached hockey and all that, he was an upcoming player back then. Big, strong, burly kid that could rip your head off with a slap shot, and you know, when you weren't looking. And
Oh, when I need something fixed, he's usually who I call. And I fly the drone a lot myself when I'm filming and stuff. But every once in a while, I need both hands, and I just can't fly the drone. And I'll call Dylan and have him come over and fly the drone for me. Oh man, we are getting a lot of occupations. I've seen accountant, firefighters, carpenter, diesel mechanic. Let's see, farming, tool and die, engineer, teachers, lawn and yard maintenance, snow removal, firewood. That's the kind of stuff I love seeing. I'm glad you guys are all here. Real estate appraiser.
Greg Kerluk, lean, yes, very important. When you learn it and live by it, you won't change it. You won't change.
One thing that I started seeing in the comments a lot whenever we did that video was, you know, some people would say, oh, I'm a black belt in lean manufacturing. And I had to ask Doug, I was like, is he being sarcastic or is that a real thing? And he's like, no, there's different degrees of lean manufacturing. You got to take courses or something.
Yep.
So explain how that works. How do you get...
Well, it all depends on who you go take your course through and how they grade you or how they grade, you know, things like that. But there's legitimate certifications to being a certain color belt in whether it be lean, whether it be 5S, training, things like that. So there's a lot of different things. Like there's Six Sigma that you can be certified in and all that. So there's in that particular industry, in the manufacturing industry, not just tool and die or plastic injection molding. There's certifications that you can achieve, and what that does is there's a lot of customers, a lot of big OE customers want you to be certified before they'll even come knock on your door to do any work. So
what are you certified as?
I was a green belt in Six Sigma, and I also did our 5S training within our facility. And I've done, I never went to college, okay? I went right straight out of high school, and I'm an apprentice or a journeyman toolmaker.
Yeah.
So once I went through my 4 years of my apprenticeship, where you're doing on-the-job training, where you're doing night schooling. I was doing 4 hours a night, 4 nights a week after I got out of work, doing my apprenticeship training classes. That's all your math classes, your design classes, and things like that. And I honestly, I don't regret one bit not going to college, because it's taken me to a point in manufacturing and just doing the things that you guys see me do around the house with you know, setting things up, fabrication, and that's done way more than college could have ever done for me. So
all you guys out there that think that Doug just somehow miraculously picked up, you know, or is just naturally good at work, no, there's a bunch of training that has gone into it.
It was a lot of years of putting out fires.
which is why probably most of us struggle with it, because we don't have that training. Easy EG6 super chat $1.99. He wants to know what Hometown Acres is drinking.
Pepsi.
I'm drinking the Hometown Acres drink right there. Maybe if we get a $50 super chat, we'll divulge what we're drinking. All right.
Not Kool-Aid. Chris knows. Doug's YouTube channel, I just missed it. Oh, does it better.
Doug does it better.
Okay, let's get into this whole, I'm not sure where not the last video you did, but the one before that, where we were the hacks for the tool measuring, or the measuring of the logs and stuff.
The firewood measuring
Yeah, and in
tools.
that video, for some reason, Adam says, well, let's find a nickname for Doug. And I was like,
I kind of like playing tricks on him
boy,
when he's not looking.
well, why did we have to do that? So, okay, so long story short, that thing was just riddled with all kinds of great nicknames. And, I there's people that have called me Dougie Buggy, friends and stuff like that. And I think Adam decided that Neighbor Doug is probably the best for the Hometown Acres channel.
Just kind of talking about the community that we have here and being good neighbors. I mean, both of us, if we see somebody that needs a hand, we usually try to help out.
Yep.
And, Doug's always over here giving me a hand. And so I think we're going to stick with Neighbor Doug, but we did want to talk about some of the funny comments.
I was reading down through the comments, and my wife's sitting there, and we're discussing. Well, we weren't really discussing. I was reading the comments as we're going down through, and we're giggling at some of them. And one of them, and I wish I would have screenshotted or written the name down, but somebody said Tinker, and that's Tinker. So
Which,
Tinker.
if you're tinkering around out in the garage, but the nickname Tinker.
So my wife just absolutely latched onto that, and and it's kind of fitting, because she would text me or call me and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'd always say, "I'm just tinkering around in the garage, or tinkering around outside, or I'm gonna go do something." So when Tinker come up, that kind of was pretty fitting. But boy, did she get a kick out of that. She just so now she'll walk out into the garage and, "Hey, what are you doing, Tinker?" So, gosh, I wish I could remember who it was that threw that one in there, but it stuck with my wife, that's for sure.
Hey, so our friend Captain Kleeman, who helped us with the pond leak and pond repair, he said the only downfall of being organized is you don't get to try all the different brands of chalk lines as you lose them and replace them. I like that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of the pond repair, I'll give you guys an update on that. We do have a couple minor seeps in the pond. I wouldn't say that they're leaking, but they are seeping a little bit, and you really only can see it when you've got a good frozen day or the ground is really dry. You can see a little bit of water coming out.
I'm just looking for the one. I don't know. My wife commented.
Kids' friends call him Dougie Forearms. So with the pond, a lot of people will comment on the videos and say, "Hey, go watch Bama Bass," and because he just did a 5-acre pond build. And trust me, I've seen all of Bama Bass's videos, and I saw where he had a pond leak. And we had a lot of criticism on how we built the pond. And I've said from day one, we don't know what we're doing. We're doing the best that we can and trying to figure it out and make it work. And we had some setbacks along the way. We tried to go back in and fix them. But Bama Bass, who paid, I would imagine, top dollar for his pond, he had all of the big heavy construction equipment in. He had all of the, he did soil tests. They dug a core trench. They ran rollers, sheep's foot rollers, packed it all in lifts, did everything by the book, and he still had leaks. But he did seem to, he was losing like an inch or an inch and a half of water a day.
Yeah, it was a lot more. For the 5 acres, an inch of water,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It wasn't just evaporation. He had water seeping out the back. So it made me feel a lot better that he had similar issues to what we were having. But he did find a fix for it. There's some kind of 2-part polymer that I'm going to look into here in the spring. The pond is still frozen over right now, so I can't do it. But in the spring, I'm going to look into that 2-part polymer he was talking about, and hopefully that'll stop the minor seepage that we have through our dam right now.
Captain Kleeman, just want to make a comment on your video there. It actually hit home pretty good with me when I was watching that. And I know I commented on your video there this morning. If you guys don't know who he is, check out Captain Kleeman's channel.
Yeah.
Pretty very down to earth, and man, is he's really utilizing what God put on his shoulders to come up with some ingenious ways to create things.
And he's he always says he's a beginning fabricator and he's figuring it out. And I tell you what, that guy's a problem solver.
But I guess what I wanted to make a point of was, in his video, he was working on building a chicken coop, and I just absolutely loved the fact that his wife came out and gave him a hand. then his girls came out and they were helping clear leaves away. And it's just, man, is it so nice to see the entire family be able to get outside and help build something for the homestead there that they can all look back and be proud of and know that they didn't just pay somebody to build it for them.
Yeah.
So it made it pretty nice.
I'm looking forward to those days. We're not quite there yet because we've got a 2-year-old at home and my wife is always inside watching him. In order for any of that to happen, we'd have to, get a sitter to come and watch him so my wife could come out and help me. But
Thanks, Dylan.
At some point, our kids will be old enough they can come out and hopefully YouTube is still around and we're still making videos for you guys. Will Davidson, we got a super chat. Woodcheck. I love the channel. Keep up the great work. Neighbor Doug, you are a gem. Thank you all for this. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Something that I've seen probably 2 or 3 comments on, and that's these firewood racks. And I know there's a video where you discussed that. So I don't know if you want to do a quick talk about the racks or not, but Adam has done a video on how those racks were created, the firewood.
Here, I'll pull this off and we'll show. So Doug took an IBC tote here. Oh, your chair's in the way. We're going mobile. So here's an IBC tote that we took down, and I'll let Doug explain what he did here with these firewood racks that we've got on either side of the wood stove here.
I don't know if we can. Here, let's do this one. So basically, we took an IBC tote, the full width and the full depth and height of it. We left the same height, and all they did was basically cut out the middle. So I had to measure inside and take what we wanted to fit in this particular area. I cut that out and then re-welded each section back together and did the same exact thing on the sides of it. So basically it's just a mini wood storage tote for inside of his garage.
And it works awesome. All right, there we go. Sorry, I locked the phone. I'm gonna put this back up here so we don't have any more technical difficulties. But yeah, those wood racks, we always talk about setting up your garage so that, it puts a smile on your face when you open up your toolbox. When you go to get any of your tools out, they're all organized. When I go to restock these firewood racks in here, it puts a smile on my face. I saw we got a question from Chad at Purple Collar Life. Are you still happy with the Coyote CK3510 tractor? Would you get it again or would you get something else? So the Coyote, I still have been very happy with the tractor. It's done just about everything I've asked of it. If I were to get another tractor again today, I would definitely get a cab tractor. Even being back in the woods as much as we are, I would just spend a little bit more time and make our trails wider, so I'm not cracking glass on the cab. But I would definitely get a cab. And being that we live in the north where we do, a lot of people would think it's because of the winters. It's not because of the winters. For me, it's for the summers. I can't stand brush hogging in 95-degree heat with the bugs and ticks and mosquitoes. And it's always in the back of your mind, what happens if you're brush hogging and you hit a hornet's nest or a yellow jacket nest in the ground?
Jump and run?
Yeah. So for me, a cab would be, for the summertime, not so much the winter. I said in a previous video, I don't really get too cold. You just got to dress for it. But in the summertime, people always say you can always put more clothing on, but there's at a certain point you can't take any more off. I guess, would I get a cab 3510? Maybe. I might want to step up to like a DK series, like a DK 5310, something like that, just to get a little bit more horsepower. Maybe start running some 6-foot, 7-foot implements.
Ohio wood burner.
What do you say? You need a Bobcat. Hey, Doug's a big Bobcat fan.
I've had my original skid loader was a wheeled skid loader, and it was a Case 1845, I believe was the model. And years later, I traded that and got a 90 XT, and it was a wheel also. And then from there, that's when I jumped to the Bobcat brand. And one of the biggest things, our local Case dealer was also a Kubota dealer, and they didn't, I wouldn't say the service wasn't good. It wasn't really the best. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
And we have a local Bobcat dealer that's 35 miles north of us, and got into the Bobcat. Either you love them or you hate them is basically what I've seen with the Bobcat, whether it's their excavators, their skid loaders. They are the originator of the skid loader. They built the very first one.
Yeah.
They've got compact tractors now. They've got just about everything. But the nicest thing I like about Bobcat, where I'm at in my area, is if I have a problem with the machine, and right now it's still under warranty, but if I have a problem, there is a service truck there within the next day or two.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it really nice, to be able to talk personal with their repair guy, the maintenance technician, and for me, that's what it's all about. I don't want to go out and hop in my machine and not be able to go use it. So.
Right. Hey, we got a comment from Adam's mom. I think that's my mom. And she's keeping an eye on the chat for me. And she said, somebody asked about the wood stove brand that's behind you. I don't remember the brand. All I know is I got it from Home Depot and it was a pretty cheap wood stove. It was $900. Whereas if you go to like a wood stove dealer, they're like $2,500, $2,000, $3,000. And I figured for the garage out here, I just wanted something with a big firebox. I didn't, this one is steel, it's not cast iron. So it's not a super high quality one for out here in the shop. I didn't really care. I just wanted something that was gonna be cheap and easy to install, and this one fit the bill. So I think I checked the other day and they're like $1,000 now, cause inflation, everything's going up.
James Holiday, 85 acres of woods. I 100% agree with you on making the trails wider. You're good to go. The only problem is when you own a piece of equipment, skid loader per se, your trails become wide enough to drive semi trucks through. Just come over my way through the woods and you can tell the difference. I don't like trees coming in and smacking me in the face, so that's why I try to keep them all cleared out and wide.
So Doug used to have a bulldozer. You had the same dozer that your brother had, the Deere
a
650.
A John Deere 650H. It was an open cab model. It wasn't enclosed. It was a 2001, and I think I had that for almost 20 years and absolutely loved it. Why did I have it? I used to ride motocross back in the day. That was close to 20 some years ago.
You should see some of the tracks. Doug has shown me pictures. I mean, they look like professional, legitimate motocross tracks in his backyard.
Yeah, so we used to, and when we did that, I got the bulldozer mainly for maintaining the motocross track, also maintaining my property, and then it became maintaining all the neighbors' properties, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed hopping on it and going and clearing out their ATV trails, side by side trails, and now it's just become, I've got the opportunity to hop on a piece of equipment and I'll go 4 or 5 neighbors down that's within, a mile or two of my house where I can drive the machine and just help them clear the trails out, because it also allows us to be able to go up there and ride.
Yeah. I asked Doug, I said, why'd you get rid of the bulldozer? And you said, because if I kept it any longer, you would have destroyed your woods.
I wouldn't have had any woods left. I would have just kept putting more and more trails everywhere. And
you should see, it's insane. The trails that he has, I mean, it's literally like this. There's just crisscrossing everywhere. There's trails everywhere. Yep. But you've got the Bobcat T770 track loader with a 6-way dozer blade on it.
Yeah.
And it does some light dozer work, right?
It's good enough for keeping the trails maintained, keeping the, any logs that fall down, trees that fall down, you can go push them out of the way. And to be honest, if I've got a big tree I need to take down, I just take the mini excavator up, cut the roots out of it, dig the roots out of it, push it over, and then I can cut it up and haul the stump away with a skid loader. I mean, they're both, a skid loader and excavator are such two complementary pieces of equipment that, whether you're a hobbyist or whether you do it for construction work, it's just two very valuable pieces of equipment that you can own together.
That's what we were talking about was, we're looking at getting the excavator, the 6-ton excavator right now. And we were kind of talking back and forth about, all right, if I'm only going to get one, should I get the excavator or the track loader? Because for the sawmill, I mean, a track loader can lift more. I mean, if we're talking about those 5,000-pound white oak logs, it'd probably be a little bit easier to lift them, get them up on the mill, pull them back off, rotate them.
With a good strong grapple, you can pick up just about anything that you can cut.
Yeah. With a 24-inch bar, yeah.
Yeah.
So you take over the live chat here, respond to questions. I'm gonna throw some more wood on the fire.
Oh, okay. You're not gonna go out and water the grass again? Just seen one on here. Let's see if I can find it again. Something about they were out mowing in high weeds and ran into all kinds of hornets' nests. I don't know where that went.
I saw somebody said they've been chased off of open station tractor more than a couple times from hornets.
That's not fun.
It
That's
hasn't
not
happened
fun
to
at
me
all.
yet, knock on wood, but I don't think I got too many more summers before that happens.
Diane or Dwayne, I don't know that I can pronounce your Kalmbach, Kalmbach. Just jumped in. Welcome. Neighbor Doug get a nickname yet? Well, it's still Neighbor Doug.
Yeah, we decided we're gonna stick with Neighbor Doug, but we did talk about some of the other funny nicknames that came in. If you missed that, go back and watch the replay. It's kind
Yeah.
of funny.
Yeah, I'm still Neighbor Doug to everybody else, and my wife wants Tinker.
That was the consensus in the comments. Was a lot of people said just keep it the same. That's what we've been calling him for a while. Hey, Ohio Woodburner, reminding everybody to hit the thumbs up button while you're on your way in or on your way out. We'd appreciate it. Thank you.
If we go quiet for minutes because we're trying to read these comments and respond.
Ryan just said the king and the princess. Oh boy, that was funny.
Wait
So-
a minute. Who's who?
I guess that would make you the king, right? So, if you're not familiar with that reference, when we were building,
I'm not.
when we were building the
Oh,
pond,
yes, I am.
yeah, you get it now.
Give it, yeah.
When we were building,
Gas, princess.
when we were building the pond, I had never run a bulldozer before, and it was Doug's brother's dozer that was here. And he said, hey, hop on that thing. It was late at night. It was probably 7 o'clock, and it was going to get dark at 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. So he had me hop on there, showed me the controls. And if anybody ever offers you the opportunity to run a bulldozer, an excavator, anything, do it. It's a blast. Now, I'm pretty cautious. I'm very cautious when I'm learning something for the first time. I don't want to screw up. It's a 20,000 pound bulldozer. And so I was going kind of slow, and Doug's filming and standing behind the camera and says, come on, princess, give it some gas. And we ended up making a t-shirt. It's for sale on our website. It's a whole thing, but
Yeah, and that wasn't to slander him. It's my father used to always say that to us. Come on, princess, let's go. Or
Yeah.
just a comment to come, get you
Yeah.
a little bit
Right.
riled a little there. And so hey, come on, princess, give it some gas. And yeah, I know it's a diesel, and you don't give it diesel gas, but it's just the same.
yeah. And I think in that video I said something about the gas pedal, and it's not a gas pedal.
Yeah.
I know.
Everybody's a perfectionist, and boy, this day and age, you just gotta have a little bit of sense of humor.
So Chase McMurray said you guys are like brothers, and we've only known each other less than a year.
Brothers, I'm old enough to be your father.
So, and what's kind of cool about this is we had started the YouTube channel before I even met Doug. We met through the YouTube channel. And so, all the camaraderie and stuff that you guys are seeing here, that's all 10 months. We haven't known each other all that long. And he just
hasn't made me mad enough to not come over anymore.
it just all goes back to shared interests. We both like the same kind of stuff. Clinch chainsaws and more, gotta run. Everyone stay warm. Hey, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Let's see.
Right when I get done reading a question, it disappears.
Yeah.
What's your next milling project?
I've got a fun one coming up here, and I'll tell you what it is.
Vanilla.
Dylan. So
Dylan, you should be right here.
yeah. This is kind of a fun project I have coming up. It's kind of in line with the curling stones that we did. That was kind of an off-the-cuff fun project that we did, where we were out curling on the pond. But the next thing I want to do is going to be a fun milling project for the pond in the summertime. I want to make an adult-sized or a life-sized Jenga set. So I want to take, either some poplar or some pine or something, mill it down. I haven't figured out what dimensions I want to use yet, but I think it'd be really cool to make our own life-sized Jenga set for the beach area on the pond. I don't know when we're going to be doing that here, sometime in the next couple months.
Greg Kreluk, how did you get started with your YouTube and why? Good question.
That is a good question. So YouTube, when I started,
And tell them about a little bit of your background. I just learned last night, back in high school, what you took, the classes.
oh yeah, so when I was in high school, I took a TV video production class, and I don't really use any of those skills today, but it got my mind working in that direction. I don't remember hardly anything from that class, but I kind of learned a little bit about editing and things like that. I definitely learned everything I'm doing now on the fly, because high school for me was, 12 years ago now. But why I started the channel, I saw some other people doing things that I wanted to do. And, Mike Morgan always talks about the interaction and the camaraderie within, your subscriber base and community. And I kind of was looking for that. And there was also some things that I wanted people to make videos of that I didn't see. And I wanted to have an avenue to do my own take on it and do a video on some topics that I hadn't seen covered. I know a lot of the stuff, Firewood, there's a ton of people out there making Firewood videos, but every now and again we come across something that I haven't seen anybody else do, like, the curling stones, or at least they're not as popular on YouTube as they are now.
Dave Knott, you're welcome. Keep working hard at it. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't always come easy. You're trying to organize things, like I said in that video. You'll organize it one day, and a month later you'll go back out and go, this just isn't working. So keep at it. Don't get frustrated, and in the end, you will absolutely love organization. I was putting some sockets back today, and I thought, man, it's just this. There's nothing about it that's bad. It just makes it so much easier in life.
When we were talking about it makes keeping the shop clean easy.
Yeah, in that one video, I don't know how many, there was hundreds of comments that says, and I love how people assume everything. They just know everything about your life when the camera's not on, but everybody just assumed. They said, well, Doug's shop's too clean, he doesn't do any work in it.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point of the video was the tips and tricks and hacks to keep it organized.
That was the whole point of the video.
To keep it clean. And here and I don't really care. I was getting bagged on for, well, I don't do anything in the shop. Well, the reality of it is yeah, I do things in the shop every single day, but because you keep it organized, it makes it so much easier to pick up, to clean up, to put away. And one of these days, maybe we'll do a video on a ventilation, dust collection, spray paint, grinder dust, welding spark, gas extractor that I made.
Yeah.
I know it's not in the line of what your channel's about, and that might be my first One Eye Customs video. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but either way, the comments of well, he doesn't do anything in the shop, it's too clean. Isn't that the point? Is to keep your shop clean and to be able to find your tools, to be productive. I mean, that was the whole point of the video, and I had to laugh. Every single comment that came across is, he doesn't do anything in the shop.
Somebody just said, I think Wrangler Star changed his mind about toolboxes after you guys did those videos. I watched that video and I was kind of thinking in the back of my head, I wonder if he saw those. I don't know. I mean, he's a giant YouTuber. He's got, almost 2 million subscribers. I highly doubt he saw our video on toolbox organization and stuff, but hey, if he did and it made a difference, I think he'll like the direction he's going. Yeah, so today's video, I see a comment come in about the Forester. It was a tough decision. Oh, hey, we got a super chat from Juki17. Thank you. The Forester, we still don't know what we're gonna do yet. So if a Forester comes out here and paints trees, the paint should last at least 3 years. So even if we don't want to do it right now, we still have 3 years that, the paint will stay on the trees before they'd have to come out here and paint them again. But Yeah, I guess the reason that I was even considering doing it now is because I want to go back there and I want to take out all of the junkier trees. And my goal was a timber stand improvement. I want all the junk trees to be taken out, let all of the straight trees grow and get bigger. And that way, the next time we do a harvest, we get, I guess, a bigger cut of the pie, right? So that's what I'm looking to do. I still need to get a forester out here. I've actually had one out here before, and they weren't painting trees or anything. They were just kind of looking around and offering some advice. So,
Chris Nevels, when are you going to the Morgan compound? I don't know. I'd rather see Mike come up here. I mean, and this will lead into my question to Adam that I had written down. You know, I watch Mike Morgan, and I know Adam watches him some, and I enjoy tuning in every day to see what new he's doing. But that's just it. Every day we see what he's doing.
right.
And us people on the other side of the camera, these YouTube guys like yourselves, they don't see us as a person. And that, you know, one of the questions I had is as a YouTuber, you put your life out there for everybody to see. And everybody that's watching you sees who Adam is and what Adam does. And you start to get to feel like you know that person because you watch them like yourself every day.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of it, you don't know any of these people, or 99% of them, you don't know who they are.
Based just on their username on
and
YouTube.
they make comments, and you know, they make comments either to help or suggest, or hey, I love your channel and things like that. And I find it fascinating that I fall in that same realm of seeing these other YouTubers doing this stuff and thinking, boy, I'd really like to meet that guy, and I'd like to have him see my life the way I see his life. You know, and it's very fascinating how that community works out. And I'll tell you what, these YouTubers here, they're not actors. You're a terrible actor. It's just, you know, that's the benefit of cutting, stopping, and restarting. But
Yeah. And that's why so the first meetup that we ever did was we went to Paul Bunyan last year, and I had a blast getting to meet all of you guys because, like Doug said, you guys see what I do every day. And if when we meet up sometime and I'm not really talking much, it's because I want you to talk. I want to hear your story. How much property do you have? What equipment do you have? What do you enjoy doing on your property?
You know, it was funny. I think the very first time I ever met you, and I can't remember if it was back up in the woods there, when you were in your side by side, and I come across the field in my side by side, and the other neighbor was out back.
Yeah.
And I went, "Hey, you're Adam, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Adam." And so we got to chat, and I says, "You know, it's really weird." I says, "I think I feel like I really know who you are, and you have no idea who I am." And that's just because, you know, I get to watch his videos, and the funny thing is jumping back a ways to when we first met, and when I commented on your one video, that was when Mike Morgan came here, and I was watching that video on Mike Morgan's channel. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at that video, and I'm listening to you guys talk when you're out here in the front yard, and I went, wait a minute, I know that house. I've seen it before. And then I thought, that's just down the road. So that's when I made the comment and said, hey, I think you're my neighbor. So
Yeah.
But, you know, jumping back to that whole, we get to see who you are, and it's kind of fun meeting you guys in person.
Yeah.
And finding out that, you know, you're just normal people as well. you
Yeah.
know, So,
Yeah, last year when we went to Bunyan, I was gonna bring Doug with me because Yappa actually gave me, I think, 10 or 12 tickets or something
I'm a bad passenger, and I don't trust his driving.
to go. And you had something else already on the books and you couldn't go, but maybe next year.
I probably just wanted to stay home.
Maybe next year when Bunyan rolls around, we'll bring Doug with us. A lot of people asked for you. A lot of people said, hey, where's neighbor Doug? I want to meet that guy. So, and we might be trying to plan some other meetups here in the near future. If any of you guys are interested, I'd love to meet as many of you as I can.
Larry, that comment's come up several times, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce your last name. Where did you get all the toolboxes? I searched and searched for used toolboxes. Do not buy, like I said in the video, do not buy off of the tool trucks. Go find somebody that's a mechanic that's either getting out of the business or is changing careers or doing something like that, buy a used one. They're out there. They're all over the place. And 9 out of 10 of them are willing to negotiate. The last toolbox I bought came from a fellow that I know. He was local here, and he actually, as a hobby, raced cars. And it was on Facebook. One of his, I think it was his nephew, posted it was for sale on Facebook. And I seen that and I thought, oh boy, that's a nice used good toolbox. So I contacted him and I went over and looked over the toolbox, and we got to chatting, and I know him personally in the community, so that made it easier. But I just asked him, what's your bottom line on this? And he told me, and I said, well, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So and it came full of tools that he was no longer going to use too. And I thought, man, that really made that deal extremely worthwhile. So when you guys are out looking for toolboxes, if you're going to go to Harbor Freight because you just got one box and that's really all you need for tools, then do it. They're a good enough box for the home hobbyists and things like that. But the reality of it is back when I was working in tool and die and injection molding, I also had a toolbox at work. And when I left there was no way in the world I was leaving that toolbox for the new owners to take. So I loaded that up in the pickup and brought it home with me. And I had some smaller toolboxes at the time in the garage. And they were filled, with tools and things like that. So it worked out very well that I brought in the bigger box, filled that with the 2 or 3 smaller, small little toolboxes that I had, and kind of consolidated things into that particular one. But the reality of it is I do an awful lot of all kinds of different stuff.
And you use your tools way more than I do here. I use mine to oil changes on the tractor, do the service on all the equipment we've got here. But you're actually like fabricating and making things, and you're doing it every day.
Yeah.
And Wrangler Star said in his last video he bought a $7,000 Snap-on toolbox for I think it was $2,000 or something like that. So going back to finding a good used deal, that's where it's at. Let's see.
How many acres do you own, Adam?
Oh yeah, I did see that question come up a couple of times. We have 44 acres total here. About 20 is the house and the field and the pond and cleared land. And then we've got about 25 or 24, I guess, that is woods. That is what we were looking at harvesting.
Greg, again, another great question. With being organized, do you have all your tools documented? I actually do. They're video documented.
In that video we did.
They're all video documented.
It was an hour long.
Yep. If the insurance agent wants to sit and watch an hour-long video, I can show them all the tools I had. So.
Yeah, and that video being an hour long, when we were getting ready to post that, I said to Doug, I've never posted an hour-long video before. I don't know how this is going to go over. And here, 3 months later, it's got almost 1 million views. And there were so many comments in that video that said, I never thought I'd watch an hour-long video on YouTube, but I was glued to this one the whole time. So, and I think that just goes back to, the genius ideas this guy comes up with. The under bench vise mount and the barn door hinges. And if you haven't seen that video, go look through my video uploads and look for one that's an hour long going through Doug's shop here. It's crazy.
Chuck Gorman, I'm mostly just tired.
So Adam Pittman says, do you hunt on the property? So I didn't grow up hunting. My dad hunted a few years and didn't stick with it.
No, but his neighbor ravaged the land. Come on, Dylan, I want to see a comment now.
I hunted for a few years. I got into it a couple years ago. I hunted for 2 years in a row, didn't have any luck. And honestly, I'm so busy as a new dad, working full-time and doing YouTube. Right now, I don't have the time to. It's not because I have anything against hunting or don't want to. It's just priorities and I don't have the time. But if for whatever reason I find myself with an abundance of more time, I would absolutely love to get back out in the woods and do some more hunting.
Ron Wig, thank you. I try not to be a nuisance or bothersome to him. I'll show up when he needs me.
Yeah. So Chase said, how's Anderson doing? Good. He turns 2 next month. And I mean, he's just at such a fun age right now. It doesn't do much in the way of, getting him out and helping me do anything yet. But when I come back in and I walk in the door and the first thing he, screams at the top of his lungs, Dada! When I walk in the door, it just melts your heart. There's nothing better than that.
Dee's Homestead. A lot of people think they're a safe driver. You have to prove it.
Andrew and Samantha, when y'all having more? As soon as we can.
As soon as his wife gets home, I'm leaving.
Josh Miller says, Doug, you're all right.
You don't know me well enough yet.
Yeah. How's the pond filling up? Yeah, we're going to do a pond update video here once the final last little bit of snow melts off here so you can actually see the water's edge. I haven't seen the water's edge of the pond since probably the first week in January because we've had so much snow here. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing exactly where it is, how high it's come up. I have been going out and taking a picture every day or every other day. And kind of putting a time lapse together of the pond filling up. I think it's going to be pretty cool when we do that video. But yeah, next couple days we're going to get some melt and we'll be able to see it.
I'm laughing here. Chuck Gorman made another comment. Doug, do you have a bar clamp rack? I didn't see it in the videos at Doug's. Well, maybe you shouldn't have fast forwarded through the video. Yeah, Chuck, it's in there. I'm just joking about that, but there's a bar clamp rack that I made out of actually an old tree stand.
Yeah.
That there were some rails from a tree stand I cut and welded, and it's not your typical bar clamp rack. It worked for what I needed, basically. So yeah, there's one in there. So go back and watch that thing.
So Easy EG6 super chat. Thank you very much. He says, "What guns do you own?"
You can't tell him that.
Yeah, jeez.
You don't own any. Yeah. Don't own a single gun.
Yeah. You've got a decent collection. We won't go into.
No, is he scoping and join out or what?
We won't go into too much detail, but yes, we both own firearms. But boy, with today's political climate, we don't want to go there. Oh boy. All right. Let's see.
Do you hope to YouTube full time in the future? That's been a question of mine for you for a while now.
Yeah.
Spill the beans, kid.
I guess we'll just leave it as it depends. We'll see where this journey takes us. I don't know. Would I like to? Yes, for sure. But we gotta get there first.
Ron Wig, cold.
We're just reading through comments here.
What do you find, this keeps changing on me, what do you find the speed differences between the Yappa and the Axis? Kaliva South Farm.
Speed difference on the Yappa. So the Yappa is way less work, okay? You will get some jams. I've spent some time, getting logs unjammed. I got greedy and tried to put one in that was too big. So, you're gonna have a little bit more downtime in clearing jams, but when you've got wood going through and it's running, I mean, that thing is just super fast. The Axis, I mean, you guys know, the cycle time on it's like 4 seconds. It's super fast. And that you're just breaking your back running a chainsaw to keep it fed.
Mark Glenn, you are 100% accurate.
What'd he say?
Absolutely. Lost all the guns in a boating accident. Every single one of them.
Do you have ticks on your property? Any issues?
What? Just 2.
Ticks.
Ticks. Oh, I misunderstood you.
So it seems like it varies by season. I know the first year we moved in here, we bought the property in December of 2018, and I had a tick engorged in my leg by February. And man, there was a couple times I went back there and I picked off 20, 30 ticks off my legs walking through brush. And then lately, I haven't been picking as many ticks off my legs and stuff. I know it's, spring and fall is when they're most active, but I've been back there in the spring and fall and I haven't seen too much of an issue lately. It's been kind of a nice surprise. I was expecting it was going to keep getting worse.
Hardware's Homestead, are you going to be able to get firewood off your neighbor's property?
So my other neighbor on the other
Depends
side.
on how much you pay him, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm very close with my other neighbor too, and it was funny. The other day we went back there and we're looking, and he goes, "Boy, just think about all the videos you could make with your chipper back here." He thinks I'm going to go back and chip his 22 acres of clear cut that they had. I said, "I'll be back here for 4 years chipping brush." I said, "We could probably come back here and pull out some firewood, and I'll fill up your porch with firewood, and I'll come back here and cut some for the for myself and for the firewood business and stuff." So we're gonna work something out. We're definitely gonna go back there and cut. We just need to make sure we get the all clear from the forester and the logging company that went back there.
Hey Dylan, if you pulled 4 off you in the spring turkey ticks, that is, you probably should start wearing long pants. He's the only guy I know that goes out in shorts and checks traps. I mean, in the jungle of the woods, he's out there in shorts and boots, and just amazes me that he doesn't have more ticks. But
So Blue Line Bucks Outdoors says, "How many cords of wood do you sell a year?" We do it part-time. Everybody thinks, oh, we're this big, firewood YouTube channel and that we do it full-time. We don't. I probably sell 15 to 20 cords a year.
that's because the only videos you make are cutting firewood.
Yeah, I still work a full-time job. I can't be out there all the time. If you look at somebody like Ohio Woodburner, I think the last time I talked to him, he said he's somewhere around 125 cords a year, and he's hoping to do more than that in the next year.
Adam's mom. You don't have the AK thingy though. Not yet, he doesn't. I'll try to talk him into that next.
Yeah. Is the Holzforma 372 heavy? That's the Steel 372 XP clone. I don't think it's any heavier than the original 372 XP.
Oops.
But that being said, it's a 71cc saw. It is, it's a heavier saw.
Just kicked it.
If you're running it all day, it is going to get heavy on you.
Oliver Wells. Yes, that's why I sold the bulldozer, because all I did was kept knocking down trees.
Yeah.
His question was, does Doug harvest his property? Actually, when we were kids, and I don't know if I've told this story, but when we were kids, my father actually logged the land that I live on. He owned it prior to me owning it, and as kids, we used to go down there and he would log the land, and we actually sold firewood by the roadside. My oldest brother and then my next oldest brother and myself, we would go down there and we would cut and split firewood, and we did that by hand back in the day for most of it. And so yeah, we logged the land, or my father logged the land off, and then what we could sell as kids, we got to keep that money. And my oldest brother, he did a lot of the, he would deliver. I couldn't drive at the time, I was too young, but he would load up an old, I want to say it was an old 78 Ford standard cab long bed, and would fill that thing till the shackles were buckled to the ground, and go deliver a load of firewood to somebody. So
that's what I'm looking forward to with what we have set up here. We have all the equipment to do it. We've got the roadside stands. We've got avenues to sell the wood. I'm really looking forward to, my son being old enough to just teach him about money and business and hard work ethic and all of that, and have it all set up and in place. So at some point, he is going to be helping me do all this, and he'll be earning and saving and learning how to manage his own money. I think that's critically important. I wish they taught it more in schools today.
when he popped the top, who else heard that? Andrew and Samantha Madison, exactly.
Yeah. What'd they say? Oh yeah. You got it right.
Dan Klein. I heard Bush.
Yes, I have heard of GP Outdoors. If you go back probably 2 years ago, we did, it was a conglomeration with 5 or 6 different YouTube channels. We did Splitter Wars 2020. So if you go back and look at Splitter Wars 2020, GP Outdoors was in it, we were in it, Back 40 Firewood was in it. And basically, we were just taking everybody's log splitter and trying to create an equal test to have everybody run their splitter under the same conditions and circumstances. That way everybody could go and compare without having to actually go and test drive all these different machines. Just a way to bring it to you guys over the internet.
Hey, Texas Steve, the advice on planning when you stage snow. I think this winter we've had more snow this winter than we've had in probably the last 5 winters.
Yeah, we had a lot of snow this winter.
You know, we've had snowstorms this winter that we haven't had in years and years, where we were getting 8 to 10 inches, 8 to 12 inches, and even more than that. But, you know, coming up from Texas, the only thing I can say is all you really got to do is when you're in the Pennsylvania area where you get a lot of snow, is look, when you're out driving around in the area, look where people plow their snow and tell me if you like driving through that slush, slop, and melted water when you've just washed your car.
Yeah.
Take that concept, and when you're plowing snow at your own house, if you pile that snow on the high side of your driveway, guess what? For the next 3 months, you're going to be driving through that as it melts off. So, you know, I've taken that, and I the way my land is I have the ability to plow the snow out around behind my garage, and I have a stream, excuse me, that runs behind my garage. So what I like to do is I put that snow that I plow up on the edge of the ravine there, and as it melts off, it just trickles into the ravine and doesn't run down through my yard. And I know years in the past I've plowed it up on the lower side in the grass, and it just makes an absolute mess. So you'll learn that just by driving around and looking how people plow. And I get a kick out of, like, if you go over to Home Depot right now, there was a 10-foot pile right at the entrance of the roadway when you pull in.
Yep.
When you leave Home Depot, you can't see left to pull out of there. You're literally in the middle of the intersection. So
yeah. And the other thing too, with where you put your snow, so I've got a gravel driveway. You've got parts of areas where you drive vehicles through that are gravel. Most of it's blacktop, but you got to think about where you're piling that snow up to when that melts, and all of the gravel you've now put in that where all that gravel is going to be when all that snow melts. So you might as well park that snow pile with all the gravel mixed in it where there's gravel, so you can easily just pull it back into where you took it out of. And that's one thing I'm learning the hard way this year is I'm going to have a big cleanup job from all the plowing we did with gravel in the grass. Captain Kleeman, he says he stores his snow in Pennsylvania.
you can have it back, Captain. I don't want it anymore. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I want to get out and dig and fix stuff like you're doing right now.
Yeah. What do you got? You got any more questions over there that we haven't covered yet?
Oh, I do. We talked about a couple of different things. Yeah. Why does a YouTuber spend money? I mean, I seen this comment. It baffled me. And
we get
YouTube is a business for you guys,
right?
I mean, you got to fill out tax returns on it. You got to do all it. It's a business.
Yep.
You make money. You're not here just to put your life online. You're doing it for a reason because you get paid. So
it's no secret that we make money off of YouTube. And people said, "Why do you spend money?"
There was a comment about buying things just so you can create more content, and that just struck me as like, are you serious? It doesn't matter what business you're in. You got to spend money to make money. So maybe you can explain on that.
So yeah, there are definitely times where I will go out and I will purchase something to make a video on it. And a perfect example of that is if we didn't have YouTube, I don't know as though I would have ever come up with those curling stones for the pond. But I'll tell you what, because I did that and we did the video on the curling and everything, and you know, YouTube was my motivation for that. That was the most fun that we've ever had out here. We had the whole family out here. We were, you know, was it regulation curling? No, but it cost, I had to go spend money to buy the cement and all the supplies and all that to make that video, and we had a blast with it. So yeah, when it comes to spending money to make money on YouTube, yeah, it's a business. And oftentimes it's things that we may not have done if we weren't a YouTube channel, but it's always fun. So
You want to talk about people, YouTubers that spend money? Go look at the channels that have 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys are buying cars, tanks, construction equipment every other month, and it helps their content. Because I'll be completely honest, I'd never watch another one of your videos if you just went down and cut firewood again. It would get so boring.
yeah, that's the other thing is we've got to add a little variety. I mean, there's only so many camera angles and things I can do of the Easton Made Axis and the Yappa Firewood processor. I mean, eventually you've got to branch out and do some other things, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, how many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches could you eat in a year? Sooner or later, you got to make a steak.
Yeah, yeah. So it's all about adding variety and getting different stuff out there to continue to grow the channel. So yeah, if you look at, channels like Heavy D Sparks, he just had like some of the top, million subscriber YouTubers out to some cabin in Utah or Montana or something like
Yeah.
that. And they had like 20 snowmobiles, a snowcat, I mean, millions of dollars in equipment. And it's because they probably make more than that in the videos that they do. So
Just absolutely fascinating, and absolutely, that's what makes these videos interesting. You said Heavy D Sparks. I watch him whenever I get the notification that pops up, and he drives the diesel monster truck in the Monster Jam. But he's also got a very fascinating life outside of that. He's got a Dave Sparks Motors that he did that stuff in. But his YouTube channel is absolutely fascinating, and he just did I think a 3-part documentary on trying to find a girl's body that they think was dumped in in the mines in Utah where he lives. And I mean,
he's a civilian.
Yeah, he's doing this stuff out of his own pocket.
Yeah.
Searching for this missing girl, and that takes a lot of money. So if you guys ever get a chance, check out that Heavy D Sparks, I think it is.
Yeah.
His YouTube channel, just fascinating, and the editing and everything that he does is phenomenal. And I'll be completely honest, I don't like watching TV anymore. I don't like watching the news. I don't like any of the shows that are on TV anymore. I literally have a iPad hooked to an arm that comes off my bed rest, and I watch that. The TV's out in front of the bedroom there, but I'll watch my iPad and watch all these YouTube channels that I've subscribed to. And
Hey, let me know down in the comments below how many of you guys still watch cable, or if you just watch YouTube, because we don't have cable. We watch you. I'm a YouTube user as much as I am a creator, and Doug's a YouTube user, and we don't watch TV anymore.
Chase McMurray, I think you're absolutely right, but I still enjoy his videos. I still enjoy watching how he creates his content and what he does.
Yeah. Man, I would love to have a full-blown film team, camera crew, editing team.
Next year?
Yeah. Man, the production value of some of those guys is just insane.
But they're better than watching the drama TVs that are on right now.
Yeah.
It's just some of that stuff drives me absolutely crazy, and everybody's trying to be political one way or the other. And man, what happened to the Brady Bunch?
Yeah.
Just
Okay, so JT Bro, how do you edit videos, computer or Android? I actually do so when I first started, I just had a GoPro Hero 7, and I did all my editing on my iPhone. I've since upgraded. We have a Hero 9 now, and now we've got an iPad that I do all my editing on. So we've got a Canon M50 that I film with. We've got a drone. So we've got a couple different cameras just to try to get different angles and things. But yeah, I just edit on my iPad.
reading through these comments, it looks like a lot of people have ditched the cable. And man, I'll tell you, you know what? You want to make your life a little easier. You want to feel a little bit better when you get up in the morning or go to bed at night. Quit watching TV. Quit watching the news.
Yeah.
It's just those people want to drag everything down, and they want to overindulge and just make everything, and it's all for ratings. It's no different than what you do, but I mean,
But I try to make all of our videos. When you leave one of our Hometown Acres videos, I hope that you guys are leaving in a better mood than when you came in watching it. I try to keep all the negativity out and all that, and just have good quality, family-friendly content for you guys.
I do outdoor adventures. I do enjoy a little bit of Yellowstone, but I don't have a choice. My wife puts it on, and we got to lay there and watch Yellowstone.
Yellowstone's not bad. I do enjoy Yellowstone, but again, it's because it's about land and property, and
Yeah.
talk about all kinds of equipment.
It makes you wonder if that's really what it's like out there, and it is what it is. But that's a good show because it's not two guys hollering at each other and about what dress somebody else wore. It's kind of neat stuff to watch.
Yeah. So I was only planning on doing this live stream for an hour, but we still have 309 people in the chat right now.
How are we at 9:23?
I know. So I think we're going to do a hard stop here at 9:30 in the next 7 minutes, just to kind of respect all of your guys' time, let everybody get to bed before the work week starts tomorrow.
Sean Fawcett, exactly. It is poison.
Yeah. Adam, are you going to Woodsman Field Days in New York? I'll have to look into that. Like I said, I want to do more meetups and things, so potentially. Put down in the comments when it is.
So if you guys got any opinions out there, this is my first time ever doing a YouTube live, and Adam says, he's done other ones, but
I've been a guest on other people's live streams. I've never actually hosted one before.
So if you would, I guess show Adam the love here, and he put this all together with some help from another YouTube friend.
Yeah, I got to give Dan at Back 40 Firewood a huge shout out. We were a bit lost here yesterday when we were trying to get set up, and he coached us through. When you don't know what you're doing, you go to the professionals, and Dan from Back 40 Firewood does a live stream every Friday night. So check out Back 40 Firewood next week at Friday night. But he's a pro, much better production value than what we've got here tonight, and he puts on a good show on Friday, so go check him out. And thanks, Dan, if you're still on the live stream, for giving us a hand get this set up.
Chase McMurray, yeah, I've heard of Andrew Camarada. I cringe when I watch his episodes and shows, and the only reason I cringe is his use of hammers and tanks and tools and stuff to fix things is a little different than my thought on how to fix things. It's a different lifestyle, and he presents himself very well, and he makes it very interesting to watch.
And it's funny.
And it's just, you shake your head when he's done tearing apart a dozer blade or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally used 3 other dozers to rip the tracks off of a machine or something. Unbelievable to watch, but yeah, we've heard of Andrew, and it's kind of interesting. But anyhow,
what's the saying? Using a 10-pound sledge when you really needed like a scalpel or something.
Yeah, you use a sledgehammer to kill a fly. It's
Yeah.
that's Andrew in a nutshell. So it's fascinating to watch him. But like Adam said, we're coming up close here to when he wanted to get off on this. But I guess in the comments, if you guys could leave Adam some feelings on doing these lives, whether you'd like to see him do more of them with other people, other things that he's done, reach out. Is the live, are they fun for the viewers to watch? I know I personally enjoy watching other ones. I try to watch Captain Kleeman's, and I've watched a handful of Dirt Perfects, and there's a couple others out there that I've watched. They're interesting, they're fascinating to get the side-by-side chatting with each other and then responding to questions that you guys send out. So, and
the best part is it's all uncut, unedited. I mean, you just heard us talking here, no editing for 90 minutes here. So, I was gonna say at the beginning of this that, hey, if this goes well, maybe we'll do more. If it doesn't, maybe you caught the one and only Hometown Acres live stream. But I think it went off without a hitch. I had a good time. I had fun.
Yeah.
So, but hey, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this one, hit that thumbs up button on the way out, and we're gonna shut it down here. And thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. See ya.